YouTube has become buried in an avalanche of videos of angry fans complaining about the current state of the Doctor Who TV show. These days, you literally can't swing a cat without hitting one. The sheer number of angry people is proof enough that the show has lost its path, and I'm not going to argue these points. I am, however, saddened to think that this might be the end of the Doctor. So I decided to do something about it. So far, I'm guessing you've seen a lot of hatred for Jody's Doctor. People have talked about it endlessly, about things that are bad, plots that no one cares about, things that must change, and so on. But I'm also guessing you haven't yet heard from those who still manage to find things to like in the new seasons. So today I will talk about what I personally find likable about Jody Whittaker's Doctor Who, and I will conclude with my thoughts on what the problem is and what can be done to save our beloved Doctor. I myself became a fan of the show during David Tennant's era, and I have also went back and watched Eccleston. And while I was between seasons, I also went further back and watched Tom Baker and Sylvester McCoy. And I have been following the show ever since. In this video, I intend to briefly go through the episodes of Season 11 without pointing out the hated bits, and instead focusing on the bits that I personally find likable. And I will conclude with what I think can be done to make the show great again. When we first met Jody's Doctor, I liked the making of the new screwdriver and the accompanying music. I liked how the Doctor tricked Tim Shaw by planting his own micro-explosives in his electric tentacle hand tie. I liked how she gave him the choice of walking away, something David Tennant would have done, and how he refused and promptly blew himself up. In the second episode, I liked how the TARDIS got stuck on a planet in the past, and how over thousands of years it spawned the legend of the Ghost Monument. I find it a nice detail. I liked how the Doctor tricked and burned those cloth strip monsters and made peace between the two race contenders, having them share the prize in the end. I also like the TARDIS reveal scene and the music. But what I like the most is the Doctor's reaction when her companions grabbed for the guns, when they told her, "You can't outthink bullets," and she replied, "Been doing it all my life," and promptly proceeded to outthink bullets. In the third episode, I like the effort they did to make it authentic. Frankly, I don't see how you can have a TV show about time travel and not pay homage to history when they travel into the past. In the fourth episode, I like it because it is scientific. I like the TARDIS in-flight sequence a lot, with lots of wormholes all around and space folding everywhere, like something on the Discovery Channel. I like how the soup of toxic waste made the spiders grow big. I like how the spider mom grows too big and cannot breathe. I like the effects that went into making the spiders themselves and how they give me the creeps. But what I like the most is the Doctor talking with the first spider she sees. Instead of just walling it off and fleeing, she talks to it. I find that very cool. And I also like how she walls it off with kitchen spices. As for the fifth episode, the only thing I liked was the miniature fusion reactor. Moving on. In the sixth episode, I again like how they made an effort to make it authentic. And I would like to mention that my country has had its own shares of stupid wars like that. Yes, things do get that bad that quickly. In the seventh episode, I like how artificial intelligence and robots are taking all the jobs, and how there are laws for companies to have human employees. And I like the twist of a computer needing help for once, instead of employees under AI control. As for the episode about witches, I again like the historic detail. This whole episode has a feel of a classic Doctor Who episode. It reminds me of when Tom Baker was fighting Mandragora. I like how Lady Becca was actually killing others in a futile hope to save herself. I like the witches and I like how the doctor figured out that the docking chair was a part of the prison, and how she could put it to use. I think the next episode is my favorite, because of how imaginative the plot is. I love the anti-zone tunnel and the flesh-eating moths. I like the doctor dealing with Rubens and telling everyone to freeze when Rubens tells them to run. I like the Solitract and how it just wanted to make friends, and I love the doctor saying to it, "You are the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced, and I haven't even scratched the surface." But what I like the most is the scene at the end, where Helen's father sees what the doctor has written on the walls of the cottage. In the last episode, I like the shrinking of the planets bit. I feel it's an homage to Tom Baker, who, while hunting for the key to time, also encountered a bad guy who used to shrink planets down and keep them as trophies. And while the final confrontation was stupid, I like how the doctor told Graham, "You are the strongest human I know." In short, I like the attention given to historic and scientific details. I like how the doctor is defeating her foes by being clever and insightful, and I like how she is being kind, fighting to save even her worst enemies. In a time when TV shows are featuring more and more cruelty and malice, the Doctor stands to remind us that kindness and cleverness can be cool too. Now, here is what I think can be done to save the show. The show has become too PC and overflowing with PSA messages of treating everyone equally. And now that BBC has started, I do not think they can stop. What they can do instead is give the Doctor moments of profound anger, scenes of crushing grief and sadness, scenes where we can feel the weight of the Doctor's years and burdens, scenes where we see people terrified of the very mention of the Doctor's name. The Doctor is a disguise to hide the true creature within. The goofy clothes, the sense of humor, the awkward behavior, it is all an act to conceal what lies beneath. And the best doctors are those who let that mask slip and give us a glimpse of what lurks inside. The oncoming storm, the beast of Trenzalore, the shadow of the Veliard, a dark, foreboding and terrible Lord of Time beyond our comprehending. We want the fury of the Time Lord. We want the anger of a good man. We want the good Dalek. And in spite of all of that, the mask goes back on, and he makes his Zygon speech. He gives his enemies chances to mend their ways. He puts things back together when they fall apart, and makes people better. If you can give us that again, BBC, you can save Doctor Who, regardless of how many PSA you throw at us. So, that is it from me, you guys. These are my 2 cents on the issue. Don't give up hope. The Doctor we know and love has not yet died completely, and still burns at the center of time, watching the turn of the universe.